I'm your host, Kristen Gies, and you're watching Advising Gens. This show bridges the gap between generations by inviting teens to submit questions and topics they'd like addressed by millennials, Gen Xers, baby boomers, and the silent generation. Throughout this series, you're going to hear stories of victory, defeat, and of course, receive advice on how to navigate through life's difficulties. So without further ado, let's jump right in to today's episode.
I want to hear a success story from someone who used to get bullied.
My name is Catrina Doyal. I am from Fort Worth, Texas. I am a millennial. And a time I felt like an outcast amongst my peers was especially in middle school. In middle school, I had just moved to a new school, and a lot of people made fun of me. There was a time that people would follow behind me and make monkey noises. I was always called a gorilla, and that fed into high school. High school, we actually, since it was a small district, we all went to the same high school, so it kind of followed me. I joined Color Guard thinking that this was my out, and I enjoyed it, and I truly loved it. And it still followed me at that point, too. The band members would do the same, call me a gorilla, make monkey noises, laugh at me at every opportunity. And so I kind of just shut down. I was so sick of it that I stopped going to school completely. When my mom would get us up for school, I would get dressed and go to the bus stop. And as soon as I saw her drive off, I would turn around and go back home and go to sleep. By the end of sophomore year, I ended up missing 77 days of school. And my mom had no idea because I would erase the phone calls from the call ID and delete the messages. So while they would call every day, I was smart enough to go ahead and erase those. So she had no idea. And at that point, I was given the option, like you can repeat your sophomore year or you can leave. And I was not about to go through that again. So I left high school sophomore year. I didn't leave because of grades. I didn't leave for any other reason except I was not about to go through the bullying again. I ended up getting my GED in 2007 and missed out on prom, homecoming, walking across the stage. I missed out on it all. To get out of that, I realized that I was giving people power that they didn't even know that they had. These people were dangling like hurtful words. They were dangling all these things over me, and it hurt me, but I didn't realize that they had power over me that they didn't need. I took that power back, and I said, this is not who I am. And I decided that from that day forward, that I would remember all the hard work I've done, everything I've been through, everything I've pulled myself out of. And I decided from that day forward that it would be my job to make sure that I was happy and safe and healthy. To mask the pain from feeling like an outcast, I turned to men. And this was years later. I kind of just kept it moving. And then the pain slowly creeped up on me. And I turned to men, any guy that would show me the least bit of attention, and I would run towards them. And I put myself in a lot of situations that I may not have made it out of, but I ultimately did. During that time, I did not turn to self-harm. During that time, I just developed, like I said, the tough exterior. So I was very hardcore. I didn't care what anybody said. I didn't care what anybody did. I was just kind of numb. I numbed myself to the pain of everything that I went through, everything everybody was saying. I just kind of voided everything out of my mind and just kind of was going through the motions to make it work. The advice that I would give to someone feeling like an outcast is, you know who you are. You know the kind of person that you are. You know that the things that they're saying are not true. You know that the things you're doing are to mask the pain is not right, but we can fix that. You know the kind of person that you are. What anybody else's opinion of you is not your concern. They may think what they want to think. They may say what they want to say. You know who you are. So while it may be hard, lift that chin up and fix your crown and realize your worth and know that you are important and you are wonderful. And what anybody else may say about you is 100% not true. It does still affect me at times. I can remember everything that was said about me. Every time someone laughs, I kind of turn just to make sure they're not looking at me. Um, I feel like today I have learned how to manage, but it does still affect me. Those thoughts do creep up, but at the same time, I have learned to realize myself and realize my worth. I am now married with 2 beautiful children, and I have a wonderful husband who tells me how beautiful I am every day. And that's something that I never thought that I would ever achieve or get. And it happened to me. And so now, while those thoughts do creep up, I know how to kind of distract myself and remind myself of who I am and everything I've accomplished. You are not an outcast.
We would like you to be featured on the next episode of Advising Gens. Want to know how? Record a video on social media asking a question that you think all teens want to know. Make sure to tag all 3 pages. That's Advising Gens TV, Lipstick Ready Mentors, and Shepherds of Healing Mentors. And you could be our next co-star.
How do adults deal with judgment?
My name is Samira Maddox. I am from Dallas, Texas. I am Generation Gen X. A time when I, as an adult, felt like an outcast was when I was riding on a bus. It was very cold, and I remember I was listening to something like a different kind of language on my earphones, and I was listening to Somali music because that's what I wanted to listen to. And one lady told me, the bus driver actually, she told me, "Why don't you turn that thing down?" I was like, "What thing is this lady talking about?" And she was like, "You have to turn that music down or go back to where you came from." I have never felt so humiliated as an adult in a bus full of adults, rush hour, when somebody else who was just like me, Black woman too, like me, I believe she was an immigrant like me, and thought I should go back to my country. I was very confused about what this woman meant by going back to your country. So I really struggled with what this woman had told me. And it was the first time, being in a foreign country, in America, or whatever, riding on a bus full of people, getting to know my way around. And this person just told me to go back to my country. I felt really humiliated, felt really hurt. And I wanted, so I didn't understand what it means to be an out. This is when I felt this is how I felt to be an outcast. I believe most adults feel this way, especially in the line of business that I am, and my friends that I talk to, and the people that I interact the most will feel this way because people are scared of the other, scared of the way I look, scared of, my accent or my looks or my head covering, and people don't feel like they could be friends with me. I've been an outcast for a while, and I'm still fighting being an outcast and fighting to belong. After I got off the bus, I was on my way to school, and I was like, this is how I'm going to make a difference. As of that moment, I wanted to work with nonprofit organizations. I wanted to build a safe space for women. And this carried on with me till I reached college, and I built an organization for women, the first Muslim sorority in Texas, and the only functioning one in the United States, where women and girls have a safe space to feel like to belong and feel like they're not outcasts. If you feel like nothing, you are nothing. Everybody is somebody, and everybody has a purpose on this earth. This is what I believe. My name is Samira Maddox, and you're definitely not an outcast.
If you haven't already, be sure to download the Advising Gens app. or visit advisinggenerationz.com. Choose a program, Lipstick Ready for Girls or Shepherds of Healing for Guys. Then select the tab that says Distant Learning. There you will find a list of units with videos and assignments. Watch a video and complete the matching assignment. Then press the Submit button at the bottom of the screen. Now all you'll have to do is wait to receive a completion verification email. All right, Gens, I hope today's episode wasn't too emotional, but left you feeling enlightened. Until next time, I'm your host, Kristen Gies, and you're watching Advising Gens.